Mr. Ambassador, good morning. It's Don Peebles. Do you think this is a good idea for the president to have implemented this ban? And I'm not sure it's a ban as opposed to immigration reform by executive order, which he has full authority and broad authority to do.
Well, look, again, the terms of the executive order point out that for the 7 countries in question here, you simply either don't have, they're not capable of giving the United States adequate information on people seeking visas from them. There is no functioning government in Yemen. There is no functioning government in Libya. There are functioning governments in Iran and Iraq, 2 other countries named. I wouldn't trust those governments as far as I could throw them. So the notion of the moratorium is to give the Department of Homeland Security time to figure out whether they're getting adequate information such that they can issue visas. That goes, I think, to a second problem with the rollout, which was it looks like nobody sat around in the White House and said, do you think this thing might be controversial? Do you think maybe we ought to be prepared for this? So, you know, that's they found themselves on the back foot right from the beginning.
But so you didn't believe this is a good idea for the country, and what we're looking at now is it's how it was rolled out, and also the politicalization of this process. But given that these countries cannot properly vet who's coming to our country, that it's important for the national security of the nation to understand who is entering our country.
Here's the thing, though. We keep hearing, sorry, Ambassador Bolton, this is Kat Timpf. We keep hearing until we figure out what's going on, et cetera, but I haven't heard anything in terms of how are we going to figure that out, or how are we going to improve it. I mean, I think those kinds of specifics might give people hope that this wouldn't be a permanent thing.
Look, I can tell you from long experience, both at the State Department and the Justice Department, the immigration system, legal and illegal, is a mess. I remember right after 9/11, the Consular Affairs Assistant Secretary in the State Department said in a staff meeting with Secretary of State Powell that some of the participants in 9/11 had been granted visas because they had purchased first-class airplane tickets to get into the United States. And, you know, good grief, if you're purchasing first-class airplane tickets, you must be okay. The system needs a thorough top-to-bottom review. We're coming at this from behind because of the day-by-day events overwhelm us. How are we going to fix it? Well, in this case, it's very straightforward. Yeah. We've got countries that don't function. So somebody with a Libyan passport comes and applies for a visa. You could go to the Libyan government, whose writ barely runs outside government buildings, or Yemen or Syria or any number of the others. They just can't tell you.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy, actually.